Hi, Em here from Em's Quilts and Em's Scrap Bag, and today I'm going to show you how to put on a simple label on your quilt. A quilt label is a good way to be able to record the history of how the quilt was made so that future generations can know who made it, when they made it, maybe why they made it. So it's just a good thing for history. I'll have to admit I'm not really good at always putting a label on my quilt, but when I do put a label on the quilt, this is how I do it, just because it's simple and it's easy. So what you'll need is some just basic fabric. I like to use a neutral light colored fabric so I can write on it. You're going to want micron pens that can write on fabric that are permanent and are not going to bleed. And then I use freezer paper just to stabilize the fabric while I'm writing on it so it doesn't move around and it's easier for me to write on. Remember, if you like my videos, to like and subscribe. All right, let's get started. All right, so I have this quilt that the Utah Quilt Guild did at their Orphan Block Night. It's a charity quilt. It will go for a cancer patient, Quilty Hug. So I'm going to put a label on this. So I've cut me some freezer paper. And I've cut my fabric. This is a 6-inch square. I like it to be at least 6 inches square when I'm doing these kinds of labels. And I'm just going to take it. This is the shiny waxy side of the freezer paper. And I'm just going to go and iron that on so it stabilizes the fabric so that I can write on it. Once I get that put on, I'm just going to fold this on the diagonal here, kind of making sure I've lined up edges. I'm going to fold that in half. I'm going to put this in the corner of my quilt, and that means I only have to stitch on one side when I do this, because I will include this in the binding. And I'm just going to take a micron pen, and I'm just going to write what I want on here. And I just want to make sure that I have 1/4 inch around so that it's going to show even when I sew that on. When I've written all that I want on there and I have my label ready, I can just take off this freezer paper. And I'm going to find the corner I want to put this label in. And I'll pin it in place. And then I'm going to sew my binding on. So whatever method you use to sew your binding on, you're just going to sew that on. When I'm doing a machine binding, I sew to the wrong side when it's just a charity quilt, because this is my fastest method. And I'll do that all the way around, and then I'll flip it, and then I can just top stitch it in place on the right side. Once you get your binding on, you can just leave this and have it be a pocket, or you can do a blind stitch along the top here with a needle and thread. And that will finish your label. It's just a good way to preserve history, to leave a note for your recipient, give care instructions, whatever you want to include on your title. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.